Welcome, Janice Dwyer. My goal today is, it's going to be a lot of me actually standing up here and talking and just sort of telling you what we did and why we did it and how we did it. I am right now I'm a year 3 teacher, but last year I was a year 6 teacher, so that's about grade 5. Our unit that we were focusing on for the science fair was pretty big, and we were trying to do it within a 6-week period. We were looking at principles of electricity, we were looking at energy, we were looking at environmental issues, and eco-design all as well. We were trying to use the eco-design to pull everything together. Now, in previous years, we always kind of struggled with this unit to sort of make it, to meet our outcomes and make it happen in a meaningful way for the students. So what we decided is that we wanted them to do some sort of project-based topic that sort of, we gave them some information, we worked them through electricity experiments and talked about energy and environmental issues in the classroom. And then we wanted to get them to design an eco-friendly device in order to sort of bring it all together and also meet our environmental outcomes that we needed to meet. The tools that we actually used for the virtual science fair, there were 3 main tools, but lots of other tools. The ICT, the information communication technology that they used, was huge. The presentation tool was VoiceThread. The other main tool that we used is Ed-Blocs. What are Ed-Blocs? And I'm going to let you see exactly what I told the students what Ed-Blocs are. While Jane's logging in for you, maybe I'll just show you the actual Ed-Blocs. I literally, when I introduced it, just showed kids this little bit, and that was enough to get their attention. This goes along with on the website. Oh dear, Jane. There's a monitor, a doorway activity. So we've got a beam in and a beam out, and we've got a siren. You hook them up, you turn them on. So there you go, you're monitored doorway. They like it with the lights. They like it with lots of other. This was great to capture their attention, and they're like, oh man. But it was still really great because the kids could explore virtually and using the software, and then they could come and actually use the Ed-Blocs at the same time. They were all excited that they were going to be doing this. So I showed them this. I showed them the website, and on the website there's a couple things that are great. There's sort of a list of all the different Ed-Blocs that are available for them to play with and use. And then there's a series of lessons that they can use. The last tool that we used as well was inspiration. We introduced the Ed-Blocs, as I said. We just did a taster lesson here. And I let them basically explore for homework. We set up 3 lessons. I think there's a series of 9 that you can set up for them, and then there's a whole open play section that they can access. We set up 3 initially. And then very quickly we realized that these kids got so excited about it that we had to open up all of the lessons for them. We made 3 required because we didn't want to overload them, and we made all the rest optional. And some of them just ran with it, and some of them did the 3, and that was absolutely fine. We had them write reflections via cows and PMIs. I'll tell you what those are in just a second. And then we were able to monitor it online because one of the components of the Ed-Blocs software is, it keeps track of your students' achievement as we're going. And then we followed up with discussions in class. Most of the kids did pretty well with it because they really enjoyed it. So, yep.
It's really interesting watching the students use the software and use the blocks, because when we went in to look at how they were doing, we found students who would never dream of being able to do this well. And they were flying, and yet other very, very capable students were not making the connections with this at all.
So it really gave us some insight into their whole thinking process as well. We set them in cooperative groups, 3 or 4 students per group. Then they got together and they decided, what are we going to design? And they came up with a whole bunch of different things. One group decided they were going to design a device that detects light and uses it to create power. We had quite a few sprinkler systems, things to shut off lights as people walk in and out of the room, that type of thing. They built, they tested, they trialed, they built, they tested, they trialed over and over again. They were able to work at home with the Ed-Blocs virtually. They were able to work with VoiceThread virtually, everything they could do at home, but they could also come back and work together in the classroom as well. And at that point, the learning really became theirs instead of me guiding them. And I was really the guide on the side. And everybody in the class became a creator or a contributor in one way or another. Even the kids that sort of, aren't as organized and, spin their wheels. The benefits of it definitely empowers the students. It really puts the learning in their hands, makes them really think about what they're doing, how they're doing it. The growth that we saw from them, especially on an ICT level, was huge. Some ended up knowing more than I did. And, I'm pretty comfortable with most of this. Some of them just flew with it, and some of them really relied on each other. But regardless, they all learned something within all of the areas, even if it was a little bit or a huge amount. They all got something out of it. Even the kids that were sort of spinning their wheels, trying to just play around with the Ed-Blocs all the time because they're cool, or play on the website all the time because it's cool, but they're not actually focused on the task. But they all really managed to get a lot out of it. Did it just accommodate what I was already doing, or did it transform it? It definitely, it blew what I'd been doing before out of the water. Did it marginally improve, or was it an effective technological innovation? Definitely the latter. So in this case, it's something that I would highly recommend doing, because it really was beneficial for the kids.
When you look at this project, the technology should become invisible. The kids, once they were up and running in these environments, they drove them. They didn't need, as Janice was saying, they didn't need it to become a technology. Their focus was not on the technology. It was creating the product, using the tools available to them. So that in itself is a shift in thinking that teachers need to make about what learning can look like in a technology-rich environment.